Today we're going to take a look at the laundry problem. This is lesson 11 in 7th grade accelerated unit 1. When will you teach this lesson? In order to find this out, let's take a look at the big picture. Taking a look at the big picture for the first 9 weeks, you'll see that this lesson is in unit 1, which is coded with the pink. And it's lesson 11, and you also see that it's in one box, which means this is a one-day lesson. Next, which standards does this lesson address? Where can you find helpful teacher tips? And what about those presentation strategies? You can find all this information and more in each lesson's scope and sequence. Let's take a look at the scope and sequence information for this lesson. First, you'll find the Alabama 2019 Course of Study Standards. This particular lesson is Math 7 Accelerated Standard 10 and Math 7 Accelerated Standard 11. Both of these standards pertain to the real number system, identifying rational and irrational numbers, and then locating those on a number line. Next, helpful teacher tips. Here you'll see that there's a teacher note about this lesson, that this is not intended as an introductory lesson, that this is a culminating activity. Also, that students should already know the difference between rational and irrational numbers. Here's the materials needed if you're going to do that in your class, and also an additional resource. For the presentation strategies for this lesson, you will want to do a quick review of those rational and irrational numbers and let students know that they're going to have special laundry to hang on a clothesline. Also, you'll have those students choose a number or two depending on your class size, have them choose 1 or 2 numbers out of a bag, and then decide if they are going to place that number on a shirt, which would indicate that it's rational, or on a pair of pants that would indicate that it's an irrational number. As the students are working, you want to make sure that you walk around the class and observe what they're doing. Maybe question them as to why did they make the choice that they made. Also, it's highly recommended that you check whether or not they made the right choice for their shirt or pants before they glue the number on the item of clothing, because once it's glued on there, then they'll have to go back and restart. And then allow students time to put their item on the clothesline. As more clothing is added, students might need to move their laundry around so that it's accurate based on what others start to hang up. And also, once everyone's is up, make sure that you lead a discussion on the accuracy of the placement. Is the space between a number that represents 1.5 and 9 the same amount of space on a number line that might represent everything from 5 to 10? So you want to make sure that those numbers are appropriately spaced. Also, this lesson really lends itself for differentiation. Some of the students might find it beneficial to have integers hung on the clothesline prior to the lesson starting, or they may just need the number 0 as a point of reference. And in between is for you just to use benchmark numbers. -10, -5, 0, 5, and 10. So let's take a look at this example. Here you can see there's a 0 located in the center, towards the center. To the left, -5 and +5. And on this example, I had the students just take the number squares and cut them in the shapes of either pants or shirts, as opposed to cutting the numbers out and gluing it on the article of clothing. So now it's your turn. You're going to use the link on the assignment page to locate the Google slide, locate the problem that you were assigned, and decide if that number is rational, then you'll place it on a shirt, or irrational and place it on a pair of pants. Then hang the clothing in the appropriate place on the clothes or number line. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So this is what yours will look like when you get to it. And notice when I first come to this, I really only see the shirts and the pants. However, with the directions down here at the bottom, you can zoom in or out. You can also just slide this over so that you can see those numbers. And so what you'll want to do, for instance, 20/3, I can take that, decide if that's rational or irrational. And for this example, I'm not going to give the answer away. So just because it's closer, I'm going to place it on a shirt. So this would indicate that this number was a rational number. Then I'm going to need to decide, where do I place that on my number line? So everyone has been given this point of reference as 0 to start. You can decide if these numbers indicate 2, 4, 6, 8. Do they indicate 1, 2, 3, 4? However, depending on the numbers that you were given, you may have to adjust, so everyone's won't necessarily look the same. Then I'll take one of my clothespins and I'll place it. Once again, this is just for demonstration purposes, so I'm not going to give away the answer. And then, this would be indicating if these were ones, then this would indicate that this is about -2.5, which obviously it's not. And then notice how I put a square around that. So that's going to grab the shirt and the number. So I can just move that right there under my little clothespin, and there it is. Now it's your turn.